So welcome back to another Reptile Jones vlog video, and I had some questions in the last rack video, so I'm going to answer them in this video. Okay, so the first question we're going to address about the rack is, what is heat tape? Essentially what heat tape is this material right here. It's metal pieces, thin metal pieces that are stuck in between a plastic laminate. It's pretty simple to use. It's very efficient at warming the racks, and if I can kind of get you a little close up here. Now this piece here is the 12-inch, and for this rack here I went with the 3-inch, so you know, it's just a matter of the width. Now the length, you can order it at any length you need, but I do believe that this one, and maybe it's changed since then, but this, you know, you have to at least use every 12 inches or so. But it comes all coiled up to you, and you know, then you can simply cut it to the length you need it. But the basic rundown of this is we have some type of filament that runs across here in the middle, and then we have two pieces right here down the sides that are silver, and that is where the electricity is flowing and then shooting across. So I'm not gonna get real technical on this, because quite honestly I don't really fully know how it does what it does. But essentially what you want to do is, once you get the length that you need, then you purchase these little clips. If we can get it to focus, these little clips here. And what that does is, you use that little clamp and you clamp it right here on the metal strip. So that little clamp clamps right there on that metal strip. And then, now, so this side clamps to your heat tape, and then you'll see this side here, there's a tubular or a hole right there. So that's where you're going to feed your electrical cable into. Now this is just an extension cord. It's been cut, but I haven't separated. So you essentially, so you see there's two copper pieces in there. So you would attach one of these clips to one on each side. If that makes sense. And then on your heat tape, clip one here and you clip one here. And I wish I had, well, I'll show you close up here in a minute on the rack how it looks, so that way you kind of get an idea. Now, with this being metal, and you just hooked a electrical cord to it, you're not going to want to touch that once it's plugged in. So then they also sell these little plastic, and hopefully, oh yeah, well, you'll be able to see them. These plastic insulators, which actually snap together, and then they encapsulate your metal piece here, so that way you don't touch it, because otherwise you're going to get shocked. And then what I do on the other end is I just simply put electrical tape on there, because it's just going to be, you know, you can get shocked. Just as thin as that is, you can still get shocked from that. So that's the basic rundown of what heat tape is. And as far as where I get it, I buy it from the people who actually manufacture it, and that is the Bean Farm. So just Google them. They're out in California. As far as I know, they're the only ones who make this heat tape. I don't think there's anybody else. I know there are a lot of other people who distribute the product, but I think the Bean Farm is the only one who actually is the manufacturer of it. So that covers what heat tape is. I'll get you a close-up shot here in a minute of how I set mine up. That way you can see how all those components have come together. And the other thing was, they were asking me about the tape that I used when I covered the heat tape in there, which we will show you. We'll get another close-up of that as well. So what I used was this aluminum foil tape. And again, this is also sold at the Bean Farm's store page, their .com page. And essentially what this does is, in my opinion, or why I like to use it, is it helps protect this your heat tape from your tubs rubbing on it, you know, because when they're sliding in and out, they're going to be rubbing on that. So I use this to help protect it, and also helps hold it into place. So that is what I use. This stuff's kind of expensive. I don't know if there is a good alternative that's cheaper, but this roll will last you quite some time, unless you're doing a lot of racks. So that was the two big questions that was asked in the last rack video. So hopefully I answered your questions to where you understand a little better now. If not, leave comments below, and you know, we'll address them again in another video. Okay, so here is how I have mine hooked up, and you can see we got the two cords that are split. You can see the metal clips here. They're on the edge. You see where they're attached to that metal. This is actually upside down, but that's just because of the way I snaked it through the rack. So it ended up being upside down on the bottom, but that's fine. And also, you see how this is like bubbly? This is something to do with making it fire resistant, so that way it won't catch on fire. But you kind of get the idea there of how this thing goes together. If it will focus. No. Either way, you can see, we got the strips down the side, we got the metal clips, we got the plastic covers, and we've got the electrical cord split. Now, I've got this here to control the heat. You never want to just simply plug this straight into an outlet. You want to control your heat. And if you're in a pinch and need something quick, you can make one of these. These are relatively inexpensive. But if this rack wasn't kind of a temporary thing for me, you might want to just go ahead and buy yourself a nice thermostat controlled one with the probes and everything, sort of like I have on the other rack over here. So here's the thermostat that I have on my other rack that I purchased, and this, you know, this allows you to set it. Of course, it says 106.5, but by the time, you know, it comes up through the tub and through the substrate, you know, my tanks are sitting at, you know, mid to upper 80s. So this is kind of misleading. That's why you always need to double check your temps with some type of heat gun inside the tub. But anyways, this, you know, plug in our heat tape here. This is a probe cord to make sure that thermostat stays in check where you set it. And then of course this is the power supply for the thermostat. But so if you're going to use the rack long term, use something like this. But if you're just using it for short term, you know, these little ones can work fine. But yeah, I would always use a nice commercial grade one. So okay, so you can see here how I've snaked this this heat tape through, and then you can see where I've covered it, just where the tubs are going to rub it. That way it kind of protects it, but there you get the idea. I covered it completely so it can't be seen, and I extended it out about an inch past the heat tape to also help hold the heat tape in place. And you know, that seems to work out quite well doing it that way. Alright, so now what we need left to do is I went ahead and just drilled all these tubs, so that way we have good airflow to circulate through the tubs, so that way we don't get stale, stagnant air inside there. So I'm going to fill these with substrate, and then we'll move in the snakes that are going to be housed in this rack. Okay, so we're going to place Wally in this rack, and we're actually downsizing him. and there's a reason for that. You know, in the one update video, I mentioned that he did eat for me finally, and well, he hasn't ate since that, and it's been about 2 weeks. So I'm beginning to wonder if maybe because he is so shy that the tub, which was a 32 quart, was just too big for him yet, as far as, you know, he didn't feel comfortable. So we're gonna downsize him a little bit, and let's see if that helps him, you know, start feeding a little bit more regularly. And then what we'll do is, when we do move him up, we'll just move him with some type of hide, so he can also hide in something a little bit smaller, but he's got room to crawl. But we're gonna try this for now. These are roughly about 16 quart as far as the floor size. So we're cutting him down about half, and we'll see what happens with him. Sometimes this works, and you will get them to feed because, you know, they like to feel their surroundings around them and makes them feel safe and secure. So we're gonna give this a try and see what happens. Hopefully this will work. We'll get him start feeding again, and then you know, once he's more comfortable with the way things are in the room and the way I do things, then we'll move him up again into a larger enclosure. But we'll just play around with this and see. I think this may be, whoa, did you guys see that yawn? So maybe that will be the key thing to help getting him to stay feeding regularly. Are you okay? He yawned a second time. Are you okay? And I just had him soaking, so I don't know if that was playing around why he yawned that second time, but I don't think it's a respiratory issue. He doesn't have any kind of mucus or bubbles around the mouth. We don't have a raspy breathing. Are you okay? I definitely don't think it was aggression. Are you alright? Alright, so we're going to put him back and let him get kind of comfortable again. Again, this guy has always been very shy, so I don't know if he's just never had much interaction with people, and so that's kind of his issue, or maybe he's been handled too much, too rough, and that's his issue. We're not for sure. We'll just go slow with this guy, and yeah, it's just kind of odd that the first yawn was definitely like like I've seen him do in the past, but that second yawn was a little bit of a different yawn. So we're gonna just have to keep a close eye on him and see how his health wise goes. He seems to be fine. I don't know, it's just weird that second yawn was just a little bit weird to me. Okay, so that's going to be it for this video. What I've got to work on next is getting the rack, the other rack, all cleaned up, and get those tubs primed, cleaned, and disinfected, and all that, because the snakes that are burr mating are going to be coming up, and they're going to get placed back into the rack. So I want to get all that stuff cleaned up, but we'll save all that for a future video. So that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for staying till the end. Until next time, later.
Shut up and sit down.